Do you think Kojima will redeem himself with Death Stranding? I don't know. I don't know if I've talked about this on stream before. I'm pretty sure I mentioned it on stream. I know I've talked about it in TeamSpeak. So the thing with Kojima is a lot of people are worried. Apparently there was a co-director or something that worked with Kojima who was with Kojima right up until Metal Gear Solid 4. So he was with him up through 3. And then the guy quit or whatever. And the big meme on V was that Hideo had a lot of help from that guy writing doing the writing. And so without that guy, maybe Hideo's stories are shit. I don't know if that's true or not, but I feel like Kojima is similar to the guy who made Heavy Rain and Beyond Two Souls. He has some really unique and cool ideas, but if he is surrounded by yes men, it becomes pretentious bullshit. Well, the problem is that cool ideas aren't enough. That's not enough for anything real ever. You can't just have cool ideas. You have to be able to back it up for anything. This is true in music and movies and any kind of art form and probably in any kind of working form. In order, a good idea has to be able to manifest itself in like a solid something. Like you have to give it support, right? So you could have the coolest idea in the world, but if it's accompanied by shitty writing, shitty execution, shitty everything else, then the idea is just going to come off as shit. Like Metal Gear Solid 5. I thought you liked Metal Gear Solid 5. You played it a ton. The gameplay... Metal Gear Solid 5 was the greatest, worst game in the history of the fucking world. I had to stop playing Metal Gear Solid 5 because it was so dumb. I don't know what the worst scene in that game was. It was either the dancing in the rain with Quiet, or it was it was that long and awkward drive of, oh, fucking god damn it. Oh my god. I just don't even know, dude. Do we really want to... Do we really want to look at this whole thing? I don't know if I can do it, dude. Fuck everyone, this was really cool. Really? Do you think maybe I'll have a different opinion watching it now? Let's fucking do it. Let's do it up, mates. I can't do it. I can't watch this. I can't watch this again. I can't watch this again. I'll send you the link. I'll send you the link.
No, my computer's torn down. You have to do it now. Do it live. Please.
Oh my god.
Who's that guy? I need context.
The guy on the left is
No, he's the
main
boss
character,
guy, right?
kind of, yeah. And then the guy on the right is the main bad guy, I think. It's this guy.
Why aren't you just...
To unite America.
No one knows, because he finds you and decides to drive you off in a Jeep. There's no real explanation given.
The bad guy found you?
Yeah.
Did he, like,
well, you
catch
found
you
him.
right after a boss fight or
No,
something?
he's not like captured. He just decided to.
You just got in
Can't
the car
explain
with
it.
him?
Yes.
I need the context.
There is no good context for
so
this.
You just, like, this was after some mission or
You
whatever?
run up into the guy and you find him finally at the end of the mission, and then he asks you if you want to go right along and hang out, and then you go right along and hang out. I don't know why. I don't understand. I don't know.
Okay,
I guess so, yeah.
To unite America and the entire world. The Major thought this was his friend's rule. But I think he never understood what she wanted. Before he ever walked or cried, even before he was born, his mother tongue was English. He doesn't know the pain of losing his own language. Not yet. He cannot understand her will. I do. I was born in a small village. I was still a child when we were raided by soldiers. Foreign soldiers. Torn from my elders, I was made to speak their language. With each new post, my masters changed, along with the words they made me speak. Words are peculiar. With each change, I changed too. My thoughts, personality, how I saw right and wrong. War changed me, and not only my visage. Words can kill. I was invaded by words, burrowing and breeding in inside me. A philosopher once said, "It is no nation we inhabit, but a language." Make no mistake, our native tongue is our true fatherland. My fatherland, my truth was stolen from me. And so was my past. All that's left is the future. And mine is revenge. On those who leech off the words of their fellow man. This is what I learned from the Major.
Because I got blown up.
And then it hit me. It was he who should feel my wrath. He and the code he chose as basis for control. Language codes, information codes, beamed all around us, genetic codes spanning history. By controlling the codes, Cypher Zero intends to unify. Codes implanted into our heads, sucking our minds dry as it spreads from one host to the next. A parasite upon this earth, that is what Zero is. As one born into this world, he's afflicted. I hold him responsible for killing my freedom. Killing all traces of my past. Killing any promise of a future. We are all but dead men forced to walk upon this earth. A world reduced to zero. Cypher plans to use its codes to control the world. They think they can. And the mother tongue of all those codes is English. The word became flesh. The final parasite. It knows English. An English strain of the vocal parasite. I will exterminate the English language. With this, I'll rid the world of infestation. All men will breathe free again, reclaim their past, present, and future. This is no ethnic cleanser. It is a liberator. To free the world from Zero. Let the world be.
Next to say you can't speak English. Or else
Sans lingua franca. The world will be torn asunder. And then it shall be free. People will suffer the corpse. A phantom pain. The world will need a new common tongue. A language of nukes. My metal ears shall be the thread by which all countries are bound together. In equality. No words will be needed. Every man will be forced to recognize his neighbor. People will swallow their pain. They will link lost hands. The world will become one. This war is peace.
This was like one of the coolest songs in the trailers. And now the entire song is gonna play while they sit here and stare at each other.
Wait, really?
For the next 3 minutes. And he hasn't said a single fucking word the entire fucking time. Like, this doesn't make any fucking sense whatsoever. None of this makes any sense at all. And this guy hasn't even said anything like super mind-blowing, so there's like nothing even that like you would feel that like it's so awesome that now. Oh, this is another Casella game. Damn, we're probably moving this up.
when the world witnesses Sahelanthropus, the hands of the doomsday clock will roll on, regardless of zero. Sahelanthropus will take the first giant step in clear.
This just doesn't make any sense. Well, somebody mentioned earlier about ideas. The idea, see, like, this is one of the things I'm talking about. The ideas that are presented here are actually really, really, really awesome. So if anybody ever read 1984, everybody always brings up 1984 as like Big Brother or whatever, but that's not really what 1984 was about. 1984 was about manipulating thought through speech, right? One of the big parts about 1984 was modifying language to control thoughts, which is like a really interesting idea, right? If you don't have, because one of the concepts in that book that was presented was that if you don't have the language to express a bad thought, you just won't have the bad thought, right? That was one of the reasons why they were trying to move everybody towards like the double plus good and all of the, and to get rid of all the words that represented thoughts that disagreed with the government that the Big Brother people were trying to establish, and Ingsoc or whatever the fuck it was called, right? So these ideas are really cool, and there's a lot of cool shit that you can do, but the way that they're presented in this game, I don't even want to say like our teenage pretentious level, because it's not even that. They're just like, they're incomplete, they're unsubstantiated, they're not really expanded upon enough for you to really understand what's going on. Like, it's just like, ugh, yeah. But like, I mean, you could tell 1984 a lot of different, yeah, no, I'm sorry, I was a little mean there, but no, that, yeah, but like that was one of the big parts of the idea that you could control a person's thoughts by dictating the words that they knew, right, and what those words meant. But yeah. Anyway, yeah, this is one of the ugh. I think the only other time you heard that song was in the trailer, but the trailer was really sick. I don't remember.
But now it is time.
Why didn't you like
They
her
you would
rolling
hear
around like a
hard
fish
E3.
In a small village.
Fuck, all the trailers to this game were so cool. Which was the Sins of the Father trailer?
Said, and the ashes.
Was it the Red Band trailer? I don't think the whole trailer. Oh, it might be, I don't know.
We pulling money?
Okay, we're gonna teleport back to a time before this game actually came out, and we thought it was gonna be the sickest thing in the fucking
Just to combat Cypher.
God damn.
Rubbing our noses in bloody battlefield dirt. All for revenge. Why are we still here? Just to suffer? Every night, I can feel my leg and my arm, even my fingers. The body I've lost. The comrades I've lost won't stop hurting. It's like they're all still there. You feel it too, don't you? I'm gonna make them give back our past.
It's not just them. The whole world wants you dead. You'll have to join up with Miller. Build that private army of yours one more time. First, we need to save Miller. He's in Afghanistan. You're a legend in the eyes of those who live on the battlefield. That's why you have to handle this mission yourself. That's how Kaz would want it. Afghanistan is a big place. I expect you'll become quite familiar with those binoculars as you plan your next move. How and where you make it, well, that's up to you. Now go! And let the legend come back to life.
Why does Kiefer... Do they do what? Yeah, the weather. The Fox engine. The engine for this game was actually really fucking sick. Really, really, really well done. And the gameplay was... Every single mission was go and extract him, or extract it, or extract the animal, or extract the thing, or... The writing was bad, yeah. Or I mean, like the writing for the mission, yeah, whoever scripted all the missions, like, it's just really unimaginative. What? Wow, we have our scar and everything. As a hardcore Metal Gear Solid fan, the gameplay and story were shit. No way, dude. The gameplay was really fucking good. It's different from the previous Metal Gear Solid games, but nobody with an ounce of intelligence played this game and thought that the gameplay was bad. No, I've never ever heard a review. Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. Like from a traditional, no, he said the gameplay was shit too. The gameplay was really sick. Everybody, no, I've never seen anybody review this game and say that the gameplay was bad. There were definitely problems with this game, but the gameplay was not one of them.
It's me. I'm here to get you out. Snake.
Okay, so this is a cable that should never be sold. A DVI to HDMI cable is actually impossible. You need an active converter, apparently. I don't know.
Feeds that blackened heart, and thirst must be quenched through hypocrisy. Plenty flames is the only way to repent. Renounce what made that kill. Would you speak that to me with your breath so still?
Did I ever finish this? No, I didn't. I got past chapter 1 and then I said fuck that shit.
The suns never die. Can't wash the blood off our hands. Let the world fill us all. It's just means to an end. Our salvation
How did what? Because a lot of what you do is in Northern Africa. You do. Some of it is in Afghanistan and some of it is in Northern Africa, I think. Northeast Africa? Right? There's an African world map, right?
for what work? And we answer. No greater good. No just cause.
Imagine if Konami weren't shitters and let Kojima finish his game. But I don't think it was a Kojima thing. I think Kojima needed that other writer. I think he did.
Cypher sent us to hell, but we're going even deeper. Take back everything that we've lost.
Cause I'm already a demon.
Is that engine gonna go to waste now? Nobody else is ever gonna be
Probably.
use it.
The engine was like so good. Like the world looked like I don't think it's still installed on my PC, but like everything about the game like looked really, really sick, and it handled really well. If the environments in this game would have been more lush than The Witcher, I think it could have competed with The Witcher in terms of graphics. But
But they couldn't. I mean, it's Afghanistan.
it's Afghanistan, so it looks like it's just a fucking desert. So it's hard for it to look as nice as It's hard for it to look as nice as The Witcher 3. I don't know if I have any. It's not gonna look the same on fucking YouTube. But like it also handled really well too. Like a lot of games that look like this will handle like dog shit. But this game handled really well too. It ran nice and easy. Yeah, I don't know. And the controls were sick as fuck, and the AI for all the enemies was pretty good as well. Like, I don't know. Yep. Kojima did not need a second writer, but the game got rushed towards the end. No. Everything about this game, from down to its bones, was fundamentally fucked. Nothing about this game's story was good. I feel like we've had all these conversations on stream for why this game was bad. Do we really want to go back? We're going back to hell? I don't know. I think it's buried in my Metal Gear Solid Let's Plays. It literally did get rushed. Just because something gets rushed doesn't mean that it would... If something was really good all the way through, and then like the ending is rushed and shit, then it got rushed. But the fundamentals of this game were bad. The easiest way to see how Metal Gear Solid 5 was bad was to compare it to Metal Gear Solid 3. The biggest meme... I don't even know. There's like a million different memes. There's a million different reasons why Metal Gear Solid 5 was bad. Do you think it's Kojima being bad or being forced into this IP he doesn't want to work with anymore? He wanted out at like Metal Gear Solid 3. I don't know, dude. Destiny, they will erase me from the history books. What an easy way to say it. That's why no one knows who the fuck Skullface is. Yep, that's pretty fucking... Yep, that's true. I mean, we can talk about any aspect of this game and why it's bad. The combat system is good. Okay, the combat system and the gameplay itself were good. I'm just talking about like the story. Like the story was just really, really, really fucking bad. As someone who has never experienced any of the Metal Gear Solid series except 5, my impression is that Metal Gear Solid is supposed to have the tone of an 80s action schlock B movie. What do you mean? No. Yeah. Okay. One of the big problems with Metal Gear Solid 5, there's like a million different problems you can talk about. I don't know. Okay, we'll just go off the top. Okay. Here's a big meme problem that a lot of people in entertainment have a problem with. Okay, and this happens. And this has started to happen in Game of Thrones a little bit even. Mature does not mean gratuitous and grotesque violent scenes over and over and over again. That doesn't make something mature or for adults. It just makes it gratuitous and over the top. Metal Gear Solids 1, 2, and 3 all had violent scenes, but usually or always they served a purpose. There was a reason why shit was happening the way that it was, and there were always, you know, meanings and character development, and all of that shit came out of it, and it was all necessary to the story, and it was handled in a mature fashion. They were mature scenes handled in a mature fashion. In Metal Gear Solid 5, it seemed like there was a lot of like over the top crazy vagina asshole bomb scenes that were just like, it was like way too, like, okay, like we get it, like this is a really fucking violent, heavy-handed shit, but what was like the purpose to any of the storytelling? Like a lot of it was just like I don't know, it just seemed really fucking gratuitous and stupid. Like, why? Do we really need all this shit? Like, I don't know. The connection with the other games, or we can talk about like the anachronistic approach to Metal Gear Solid 5 was really stupid. In Metal Gear Solid 1 and 2, you had codecs, okay? You had little things built into your ear, and you brought up like fucking videos and shit, and you saw the person you're talking to, right? It was like, okay, Metal Gear Solid 1 was set in what, 2001 or whatever? Metal Gear Solid 2 was 2005? I don't know, but like they were set like in the 2000s, it made sense. And Metal Gear Solid 3, this was set back in the Cold War era, okay? In Metal Gear Solid 3, you had to talk via a radio. And it made sense, right? It's a fucking radio. That's it. You don't get videos of people because you're in fucking Cold War era, right? You wouldn't get any more than that. It doesn't make sense. And all the technology and all the weapons and everything made sense. And even the superpower bad guys, because in every Metal Gear Solid there are superpowered bad guys, even the superpowered bad guys in Metal Gear Solid 3 felt time period appropriate. What, you had like the one dude that could control bees. You had the one dude that was like a psychic guy. You had the other guy that looked like he looked like Rocket Man. I don't know. Fuck, this is even before my time. Yeah, this guy. Does anybody here remember Rocket Man? I only know about this guy because I played a Nintendo game starring Rocket Man. But I never saw this guy in a TV series or whatever. But like the flamethrower guy looked like fucking Rocket Man, right? And it looked like everything, all the super bad guys. Oh, and then the guy, the sniper dude, the really fucking old fucking sniper guy. All of these guys, it was like super ultra time period appropriate. Like this is what you would expect if you're watching like an 80s action movie or whatever, or like an 80s action adventure, some bullshit, and there were people with superpowers. This is what you would expect. You've got a psychic, a sniper, a giant flamethrower guy with a big old suit. Like it felt really appropriate. And even the Metal Gear, even the Metal Gear stand-in for this game felt very appropriate. And the nuclear weapons we're talking about felt very appropriate. When the guy was flying in his little Russian chopper, he fired the little portable warhead, the Davy Crockett. Like everything was really time period appropriate. And the Metal Gear thing was like a giant fucking tank thing. This Metal Gear was not really as cool as the other ones. If anything, it was a little bit lamer because it was like a fucking tank. I mean, it was kind of cool. It had its little things and it rolled around and shit. But yeah, it was like a fucking tank thing. It can't stand up. It's not some bipedal creature, awesome Metal Gear Ray, Metal Gear whatever, something jumping around, flying through the fucking sky. It's just like a big fucking tank thing. Everything felt really, really, really appropriate. And you compare that to Salahanthropus. You compare, like, all you have to do is look at the difference between the fucking Metal Gears. This game is supposed to take place, what, 9 years later? And this is the fucking mech? This thing? The giant fucking Japanese Gundam mecha? No way, dude. What the fuck? This thing was crazy inappropriate. You want to make fun of Riot for power creep? It gets the little Epion fucking swords laser whip thing? Like, holy shit. This thing was cooler than every Metal Gear in every fucking game, even in Metal Gear Solid 4. There was nothing as cool as this thing. And this is supposed to be in what? Is this still the 70s? I don't even think it's in the 80s yet, right? Was this 1974? I don't remember. Metal Gear Solid 3 is 1964, so this was 1970 something, right? Why did they make this the mech? Like, it doesn't make any sense. Like, it's crazy. Crazy inappropriate. And your iDroid? Like, the iDroid in the Metal Gear Solid shit doesn't make any sense either. Like, you get, like, literally, it's called iDroid. Like, it's an iPhone suit. Yeah, like, it's an iPad thing, and this thing, like, none of it makes sense. It's just too... All of this was way too time period inappropriate. It was like they had to push, like, well, we can't fucking write anything in this time period anymore. I'm too restricted. I need to have crazy fucking shit to bail me out. Metal Gear Solid 3 was also cool because Metal Gear Solid 3 was a huge departure from all of the tropes of the early Metal Gear Solid series. Remember in Metal Gear Solid 2 when we started to head towards nanomachines to explain everything? Like, well, how was Vamp able to survive getting shot in the head and breathing underwater? Oh, he had nanomachines. Okay, well, how was Foxdie, still operating or whatever? This guy had nanomachines. How was Fortune able to deflect bullets around herself? Well, she had I think it was nanomachines, right? Wasn't her excuse nanomachines too? Like, how was I don't even remember the other bad guys in that. But like, everybody had nanomachines to explain everything. In Metal Gear Solid 3, there were no nanomachines for nothing. But nobody had any crazy, stupid, ultra autistic fucking shit like that, you know? They were just kind of spooky 80s characters. Nobody needed nanomachines. And then in Metal Gear Solid 5, we weren't allowed to have nanomachines because they weren't invented yet. So what did we get instead? We got the wasabi, the vocal parasites, that instead explain every single mystical weird behavior and become like a giant fucking crux for the story to rest on for the entire fucking game. Like, as soon as those vocal parasites started to get introduced, it was pretty obvious that everything was gonna be fucking retarded. Like, by the way, nanomachines, yeah. The Walbachia or whatever, yeah. Would you ever play through Metal Gear Solid 1, 2, and 3? They're really heavy fucking games. I don't know if those would actually even be streamer appropriate. There's a lot of fucking dialogue if you really want to fucking go through those games. It's a lot of dialogue. Did Kojima write that story for Metal Gear Solid 3? Kojima had a co-director that supposedly helped a lot that left after Metal Gear Solid 3. Because Metal Gear Solid 3 was like 50 million times better than Metal Gear Solid 5. Also, this was the biggest problem with all the games, okay? The writing for Metal Gear Solid 5 would have been easy. Listen, I don't usually claim that I can do things because I think you don't, first of all, you don't even need to, okay? But I could have wrote a good story for Metal Gear Solid 5, okay? Because it wasn't hard to do. You had Metal Gear Solid 1, Metal Gear Solid 2, Metal Gear Solid 3, okay? You had Metal Gear 2, and Metal Gear 1. Then you got Metal Gear Solid 4, okay? Now, Metal Gear Solid 3, why was Metal Gear Solid 3 cool? Metal Gear Solid 3 was cool because we saw a lot of things in this game that would later that were manifested in this game that would later show up in other games. Metal Gear Solid 3 was cool because it played the role of prequel well, right? The purpose, so on a little tangent, when somebody talks about, listen, if anybody ever talks to you about what order you're supposed to watch things in, and prequels have been released, this is how you tell somebody's fucking retarded on, okay? If a movie gets released and then a prequel gets released, and people are like, oh, if you're gonna watch these, you need to watch, like the prequel first, and then you watch the movie so you understand everything. That's not how that works. You watch the original always, and then you watch the prequel, okay? Because it's the way that it's being presented to you, for reasons I'm not going to explain, okay? So when you play through 1 and 2, playing through Metal Gear Solid 3 is awesome because Metal Gear Solid 3 is where you get the beginnings of a lot of things that you'll later understand, right? So Ocelot is introduced into here as not like the crazy gun-toting insane dude, but you get to see the beginning of Ocelot, which is really cool. You get to see the beginning of Big Boss, who is somebody that's always presented as like a super weird bad villain, but you're presented playing him as the protagonist, and he doesn't come off as a bad villain. So you get to see the start of his character arc. You get to see the very, very, very early beginnings of the Patriots, who supposedly control everything in Metal Gear Solid 1 and 2, right? So the introduction of all of these characters is really cool. It's like, oh, awesome. So now we're going to get to see how these bridge over. And basically, what we were looking for, there's also Peace Walker here, but fuck, nobody gives a fuck. That game started to get weird, okay? The thing that we were looking for in 5, all we needed from Metal Gear Solid 5, this is all we needed. All we needed from Metal Gear Solid 5 is a bridge between Peace Walker and Metal Gear. So Metal Gear Solid 5 the story was already 80% written. Like, that's it. We needed to get, how did we get from Peace Walker and Metal Gear Solid 3? How did we get from there to where Big Boss wants to create Outer Heaven, and then we lay the foundations for the Les Enfants Terribles project? How did we get to the snakes and all that? That's all we needed to explain. And Metal Gear, I don't know where the fuck Portable Ops fits in. Listen, I didn't play fucking PSP games, okay? Fucking kill yourself. Portable Ops fits in. I think Portable Ops was before Peace Walker and after 3, but nobody gives a fuck about fucking whatever. There was also, I think, Metal Gear Acid. That might have been a mobile game. I didn't play it one either. Fuck off. But the, I remember Destiny doing the exact same pain explanation. Oh, he's going to draw a big maze that is Metal Gear Solid 5 instead of the narrow line. Good job, Dr. Shamrock. You watched the fucking stream.
You're gonna do what?
So the problem is, the story moves like this, okay? But instead of getting a Metal Gear Solid 5 that takes us from point A to point B, we go into some weird fucking shit that fucking dead ends. It's like a, what am I thinking of? Remember in, is this early calc when you're learning limits? And you know how when you learn your limits, sometimes you'd fill in the circle because that meant up to and including, and then the limit would go to here, and then you would get... Do you guys remember this shit? I think this was early calc or pre-calc or something, right? You remember these? Right? And then you'd have the filled in circle here. This is what we got. The limit as Metal Gear Solid 4 approaches... there we go. Approaches fucking rationality or something. Instead, we approach insanity, and then we come back to Metal Gear Solid 1. Listen, this analogy got really fucked somehow, but you understand what I'm talking about, okay? Okay, pre-calc, whatever this is. Anyway, the problem was, instead of Metal Gear Solid 5 bridging everything nice and neatly, we get introduced to way too much new shit. Who is Quiet? Why are we being introduced to Quiet? She doesn't show up anywhere in all of this. Why did we get Quiet instead of Sniper Wolf, who was in this area during this time?
Raiden beat nanomachine enhanced soldiers all the time and he didn't have any. He even defeated 2 Metal Gear Race because he's the strongest character
No,
in
she
the
was already
franchise.
sexual anyway.
He also has one of the most coherently written stories and character arcs.
Maybe they should have made her born earlier. She could have been a child sniper. They could have given her an earlier birth date by like 5 to 10 years, and it would have been fine. Sniper Wolf was born in Iraqi Kurdistan sometime after the Second Kurdish Revolution. Like, she was in this area. Wolf was rescued from her harsh upbringing by Big Boss, who raised her as a soldier. Why didn't we get Sniper Wolf in this game? Why not? Why did we get Quiet instead, who's never mentioned in any of these fucking games? Nobody knows who fucking Quiet is. Why?
Truly, this is the dankest dungeon.
Portable ops acid aren't considered canon. The problems I have with the story as a whole is the development of Kazuhira Miller and Ocelot. It seems Ocelot is just used as oh something happens. Ocelot nanomachines, hypnosis, double agent.
So why did we get Quiet instead of Sniper Wolf, firstly? Secondly, why did we get Skullface as a boss who writes himself so conveniently out of the story? Well, it looks like in order to defeat me, they're going to erase me from history. Oh, that's a pretty convenient meme so that nobody in any of the other games has any fucking idea who the fuck you are. I don't know, like the introduction of all of these new things, this Shala Hala Anthropodia fucking Potipus or whatever, all of that shit. Why didn't we get more involvement with Hal Emmerich, with Otacon's father? Why didn't we get to see a ton of him? Because Otacon is a really important character in Metal Gear Solids 1, 2, and 4. So why didn't, 1 and 4, not as much in 2, but still even in 2. In 1, 2, and 4, why didn't we get more development of the Emmerich character? Why didn't we get more development of Ocelot? Why didn't we get to see more of Ocelot? Why do we get all this angry Kaz Miller dude? He's just fucking angry and edgy and emo all the fucking time. I didn't want to see anything. I'm like, ugh. But anyway, all of this, and then at the end where they conveniently write everything, I'm like, oh, well, during this entire game, you never even played as Big Boss. You just played as Venom Snake. It's like, oh, okay, well, so then the entire fucking game was pretty much fucking pointless then? Was that the whole point? The reason, at the end of the game, they write you off saying that you're Metal Gear Venom, or you're Venom instead of, Big Boss, so that when Big Boss dies at the end of Metal Gear 1, that's supposed to be this character, and then you kill the real Big Boss in Metal Gear 2. It's stupid. Fucking stupid. This whole fucking game was so fucked. A lot of this shit was in tapes, but I'm pretty sure I listened to every tape in this game. It was really hard to listen to tapes talking about how vocal parasites made everything in the world fucking go around, though. Destiny, the Venom Snake thing makes sense if you play the first 2 Metal Gears. I just explained it. It's not that big of a deal. You didn't need to fuck a whole game up just to say the Big Boss died twice. Like, do you think the Phantom and Venom Snake thing could have worked if the story was better in other ways? Yeah, well, yeah, of course. Anything could have worked. You can make anything work, especially in a fucking Metal Gear Solid game. But the problem was just that the whole game was so fucking horrible. Like, everything about the story was just bad and immature and poorly fucking handled. Child soldiers were, like...
Truly, this is the dankest dungeon.
Destiny, I swear to God, if you don't start a MGS playthrough donation fund, I'll burn down your new house.
Rep.
Find it first.
All of the Metal Gear Solid 5 trailers made it sound like the game was going to deal with like a lot of really mature themes. Whatever happened with the child soldier shit? It gets like brought up and then nobody gives a fuck about it.
The
Like,
lack of Frank Yeager, Cyborg Ninja, Solidus, and Raiden is also rustling considering the story is about Big Boss developing Outer Heaven and child soldiers.
yeah, whatever happened to Solidus, the guy that grew up to be president? Why he wasn't mentioned at all? Like the I said this before, and I'll say it again. Metal Gear Solid 5 should have been chock full of moments where you're like, oh, that's that dude, that explains that. Oh, that's the guy from there. Like, oh, like a reference to like we were gonna do this, and then George Sears, the politician, is like, oh, fucking George Sears, that's the fucking Solidus Snake, the guy that goes on to be president is the fucking dude in the suit. Like, it should have been full of all of these moments where fucking Snake has a sick fucking sniper that's like 9 years old and her family was killed. It's like, that's Sniper Wolf. Like, and fucking he should have met some badass giant ass fucking tank driver and it's like, that's the Raven dude. Like, oh shit. Like, it should have been all of that shit. But instead it was like, if you would have changed like 3 names in this game, if you would have renamed the Snake character, if you would have renamed Ocelot, and if you would have renamed like Kazura, it wouldn't have even been a Metal Gear Solid game. What ties it to the Metal Gear Solid story, right? And then you would have called the giant Shagohod or Phyllis Salahanthropus. You didn't even, you just keep calling it Salahanthropus. Like, that's it. If you would have changed those 3 character names, it wouldn't even been a Metal Gear Solid
MG5
game.
playthrough fund before Witcher 3 DLC playthrough fund? What the fuck is wrong with you?
The game should have been full of fan service. No, because fan service implies some lower tier need to cater to fucking fanboys. I mean, it could have been handled in a fan servicey way and it wouldn't have necessarily been bad. I'm not asking for fan service. I was just asking for like a connection. I wish I had more experience watching prequels, but like the best thing that I can think of is watching, like if you watch through Rurouni Kenshin, which is only 2 seasons long, okay? You watch through Rurouni Kenshin and it's like, okay, this is like it's an okay anime for a shonen, right? It's a shonen, it's whatever, right? You watch through Rurouni Kenshin and then you go and you watch the Samurai X Dressed to Betrayal, the prequel, right? The 4-part OVA. And then you watch that and you're like, oh, fuck, that's so cool. Like, so Kenshin used to be like this crazy fucking badass murdering dude and now we get the whole story for why he changed
I saw
completely, you know?
Kojima at a grocery store in Japan yesterday. All I could say was, huh, when I came to pay for my stuff up front, I saw him trying to walk out the doors with like 15 Milky Ways in his hands without paying and then turned around and winked at me.
Nice. Yeah, but when you watch that prequel there, that OVA, it's really cool in it. You feel like you get a way more holistic understanding of the Kenshin character, and you could even go back and rewatch the Rurouni Kenshin with the prequel in mind. Like, oh wow, like it's crazy how different he is and all that shit, and that's like really cool, right? And I feel like playing through Metal Gear Solid 5 should have been the exact same way. Like you should have felt like that, you know? Do you think that Kojima should do a story about the boss? If Kojima's writing a story and he finds himself inserting nanomachines in any way, size, shape, or form into the story, he should probably just not write it. Like, the end of discussion. Like, that's it. Like,
His new game, that's what it's about. You saw the flying people. Or
is it
whatever.
going to be all nanomachines? That was the one with the baby, right?
Mm-hmm. That turns into footprints or whatever, and all the pollution and dead animals on that, and then the flying 4 people, and there are probably 4 horsemen nanomachines of the apocalypse.
Yeah, I don't know, dude.
The emo cause pissed me the fuck off considering how well developed of a character if you listen to the tapes in Peace Walker. It's just filler as to why there is absolutely nil. As far as Big Boss, Venom, whatever, character development.
Oh, dude, there were so many memes about Metal Gear Solid 5 not actually being Metal Gear Solid 5, but it was Metal Gear Solid V for Venom, and 5 hadn't been released yet, and Hideo was going to do some crazy fucking off-the-wall shit and release the rest of the game, and the hidden scenes that were found on the discs, well, the program files now, that weren't actually in the game, and then that one company that popped up and said a big announcement was coming on Twitter, and people started linking shit, and everybody was hoping that on that day, the rest of the game was going to be released and everything would make sense, but it never happened. It was never going to happen. It was just a giant fucking meme. Oh, shit, dude. If I haven't finished Metal Gear Solid series, should I play Metal Gear Solid 5 just as a game or pretend it's a fan thing? It's fun to play. You should play it. Like, the gameplay was really good. The missions get a little bit repetitive, but, I mean, it was a fun game to play. But the story, God, fuck. If you played... The fucking thing that hurts is that where are my Metal Gear Solid bros? Metal Gear Solid 3 story Metal Gear Solid 3 story was so fucking good. And it was just so, it was so different, right? I'm sorry, this is the 5-minute fucking Metal Gear Solid 3 fucking jerk. The fucking jerk. Because I fucking buckets of fucking Metal Gear Solid 3 semen in my face. Metal Gear Solid 1 was kind of fucking weird. Was very fucking weird. There was a lot of weird fucking shit going on in Metal Gear Solid 1. We had nanomachines, we had Fox Die killing random people, but then not other people because they were decoy octopus. And then we had like the weird gray fox guy who came back from the past with some cybernetic ninja suit kind of fucking thing. And Snake's brother was alive and he had all the bad genes and Snake had the good genes, but actually it was switched, but you didn't find out until the end, and just everything. And you spent the whole game trying to input the nuclear codes to deactivate it, but in reality you were activating it, and everything was fucking weird. Everything was fucking weird, okay? And then Metal Gear Solid 2 came along, and it was even more weird, right? You spend the whole game making sure Metal Gear Solid isn't active. You find out that you just spent the whole time on Metal Gear, and it's Metal Gear Arsenal, and then you find out about the Patriots and literally every fucking meme in the fucking world, and then Ocelot tells you that it's the fucking S3 plan for the Solid Snake simulation, and you thought you spent the whole game playing Metal Gear Solid again, and then you find out that the S3 actually stands for the Societal Simulation Selection, some bullshit, and it was really the Patriots plan to control Ocelot, to control you, and everything is like so fucking crazy,
the song,
fucking
Way to Fall is
bizarre.
such a fucking feels song and worked SOO.
Everything about Metal Gear Solid 2 was like
it.
even like more fucking crazy. The president of the United States was solid as Snake and just fucking crazy. Metal Gear Solid 3 is so good because you get to see the beginning of how Jack Knight becomes Big Boss, how he betrayed everything he loved. The song Way to Fall is such a fucking feel song. It works so perfectly. Yeah, sure. And then Metal Gear Solid 3 happened, okay? Metal Gear Solid 3 happened, and then everything was so much more simple, right? Metal Gear Solid 3 was crazy simple. The story was not very complicated at all. There were a couple kind of twisty turnies, but for the most part, everything was pretty simple. You had some supernatural bad guys. You had the boss, who you had to go and fight. You had Volgan, who was a bad guy. The boss was kind of a double triple agent. Eva was kind of a double triple agent, but it all kind of made sense. But the story was so fucking good. It was so fucking good. It was so good, and it was so simple, but it was so awesome. And the boss was the coolest fucking villain / mentor of like all fucking time. She was a woman, but it didn't even really matter that she was a woman, but she just was. She was like the Kill Bill or like Ripley in the Alien movie where she just happened to be a woman, but she still kicked ass. But nobody ever made a big deal about her being a woman. Like, wow, dude, like there was never a moment in time where you walked by and she was like, I did this. And I'm a woman, and you thought only a man could do it. Like, nobody even said anything like that. She was just the legendary fucking warrior, and she was so fucking cool. And Volgan was this big evil. I felt like it was like we were in Rambo era shit. We were fighting the fucking Russians, like this big evil Russian dude. And Ocelot was so fucking cool, and we got the beginning of Ocelot. And do you remember when fucking when Volgan shot the electricity at fucking Ocelot, and Ocelot was like, I'm not even gonna fucking deal with your fucking bullshit because you're such a cuck piece of shit. At the end, after you kick his fucking ass, and he tries to fucking shoot the lightning bolts at him.
Move it!
And Ocelot's like, fuck you, dude, I've evolved, and I have respect for Jack now, because you got your ass kicked and you couldn't even handle it. Wait, where does he do the thing? Oh shit, does he even do the thing?
Find those.
Wait, when does he do it? Oh no, it was right before this? Oh yeah.
Are you questioning my authority?
Oh, and he twirls his little fucking gun around all the time?
Made a promise to the boss.
He's so cool. Everybody in this game is so fucking cool. Fuck!
I am your commanding officer.
Whoa, fanning the hammer, boys?
Are you questioning my authority?
Oh shit, do you think that could be a play of the game? Could you make that into one of those Overwatch memes? Do, whatever. It's hot, man. Damn. Anyway. Vol'jin.
Fight like a man, Volgin.
Oh shit, when he tells him to not be a little pussy-ass bitch.
Fight like
Fuck, this game was so cool. Ah, man.
The dankest dungeon.
Just got here. Why are you packing Destiny? Where are you going? Are you leaving me, Senpai? Exclamation mark, question mark.
Fight like a man, Volgin.
Damn.
Vulcan?
Oh, because he doesn't call him commander or whatever? Oh, shit.
Dankest dungeon.
Destiny, have you seen this Metal Gear Solid 3 in the Fox engine?
No. Anyway. Are we done? Did we do our 5-minute jerk off?
MGS2 is so absurdly deep. Postmodern shit that you can write volumes of books on its depth. MGS3 just had a simple story, basically a better James Bond 1960s spy movie. Sorry for the messages, but the MGS series is something that'll always hit me.
Yeah, even though Metal Gear Solid 2 was very complicated, I liked it. I really liked Metal Gear Solid 2. And I think I might even be in the minority there. I like Metal Gear Solid 2. I actually really liked the presentation of, a lot of people hated Metal Gear Solid 2 because they fucking what am I thinking of? They, bait and switched you? I don't know why that term popped into my head. But they did like a bait and switch where you thought you were going to play the whole game as Snake, but then you end up playing as Raiden the entire time. And it was like, oh, fuck. But I thought that was really cool because you got to see Snake and Ocelot from the outside, which made him look even cooler. Not Snake and Ocelot, Snake and Otacon. You got to see Snake and Otacon working as a team from an outside perspective, which made Snake seem that much more fucking awesome, right? Oh, and you had like the little inside jokes and shit. Fuck, dude. Otacon or Raiden got his little
Come on,
katana.
time to go. If you run out of ammo, you can have mine.
You got enough?
Absolutely. Infinite ammo.
Because
Wait
in Metal
up,
Gear
Snake.
Solid 1, if you saved Meryl, you got a bandana, and the bandana gave you infinite ammo. I think if you saved Otacon, you got the stealth kit to play through. There were other memes in this game too, but I don't remember what they were. Raiden was a way of mocking the fan base that missed the whole point of nuclear deterrence and manipulation of soldiers. He hated that they loved the violence, so they made you a useless pussy. Maybe, I don't know. Metal Gear Solid 2 is a really, really interesting game. Metal Gear Solid 2, Destiny, it depends on whether or not you submitted during the torture. Well, yeah, if you submitted, then that meant that Meryl died. If you didn't submit, then that meant that supposedly Otacon died or got left behind because you're driving away at the end of the game with Meryl. The whole idea of Raiden being an analogy for the player, then mirroring that with the VR simulations creating soldiers is really cool. Yeah, it was really cool. And that was like the breaking of the third wall in Metal Gear Solid 2 was really well done. The Metal Gear Solid 2 writing was really fucking cool.
This is the dankest dungeon.
Metal Gear Solid wishes it had a story as deep and meaningful as Lord of the Rings. Boo nuh na nuh na nuha. Nuh 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 na.
Fourth wall. In gaming, it's called the third wall. No, but in Metal Gear Solid 2, it was really cool because you're beginning to be led to believe that in Metal Gear Solid 2, a lot of what you're playing is harkening back to Metal Gear Solid 1, which is kind of strange. Like, you even meet that robot cyborg dude called Deep Throat, and you're like, what the fuck, this giant ninja guy, is that Gray Fox from Metal Gear Solid 1? It's the same dude. And then you meet him, and you're not actually sure, like, is it? And I don't remember exactly when, but there are a couple other moments that pop up. I wish I could remember exactly when, but there are other moments that pop up when you're playing Metal Gear Solid 2, and you start to wonder, like, why this is kind of similar to Metal Gear Solid 1. That's kind of weird. And then you find out later in the game that it's possible that Raiden is trying to be shaped into another Solid Snake tier soldier by forcing him to go through a scenario that mirrors what Snake went through in Metal Gear Solid 1, right? And then, oh yeah, defusing the bombs, maybe? I don't remember doing that in Metal Gear Solid 1. But then, and then as you're going through in Metal Gear Solid 2, as you're going through the tunnel, and then the fourth wall gets completely broken when the Patriots, the AI, GW, starts to malfunction, and the guy starts telling you that you're just playing a game and that you're wasting your time and you should take a break, and it's kind of weird that you'll do like everything they tell you to do, and anytime they give you instructions on the screen, you follow them like a fucking retard. And he's kind of like half talking at Raiden, but also half talking at the player as well. Like, I guess I am just kind of doing whatever's on the screen. And it's like really weird. Like it's fourth wall breaking, but they do it in like a really good way. And yeah, everything was just really well handled. The entire idea behind the game is actually relevant even to today's shit, where the entire story behind Metal Gear Solid 2, so ironically enough, the entire story, well, it's not really irony, but the entire story behind Metal Gear Solid 2 is that a shady government is trying to create a giant offshore aircraft carrier that is going to house an artificial intelligence that will sift through all of the digital information that goes through the internet and try to modify it so that it fits a certain narrative or story, with the idea being whoever has access to and a computer big enough to sort through all of that information, they can essentially write history and change people's opinions and write destinies and whatever they want to do. They can control the world by being able to analyze all of the digital information and then write it as they see fit, right? That was like, yeah, right. So like it's pretty much a stand-in today for what the NSA, I guess, kind of wants to do. But yeah, that was really. But and the topics in the game were dealt with in a decent way. Like it felt like you didn't feel like an idiot being talked to, like in Metal Gear Solid fucking 5. Title drop, yeah. Fucking dark side Phil playing this.
What is up?
Where's the part where he keeps letting Snake down?
And the circuit restraint doesn't really work. You got fall behind.
He just lets Snake run out and die. By the way, this scene is right after the tunnel where you get the badass katana. You're supposed to use the katana he just fucking gave you to run around and slice everybody up.
Well, what the fuck was I supposed to do? That wasn't my fault. Snake ran in by himself, got himself killed, and that was my fault. Snake! Wow, that was fucking stupid. What did that have to do with me? Snake runs in, gets himself killed, and I get held responsible. You know what? Give me a better gun. Give me this fucking thing.
Yeah, sure. Fuck. I've already talked about all this on stream. I feel like I'm retreading so much old territory. You guys are gonna like memorize my speeches right now. I should just write a curriculum for talking about this fucking shit. And the Metal Gear Solid games was supposed to be a 3-part breakdown in the analysis of what forms an individual. And it happened to work out as an acronym. I doubt it was planned from the start. He probably like retrofitted it. But MGS was supposed to stand for memes, genes, and scene. So the idea was memes, which is the propagation of information from person to person, how much does that create you as an individual? Genes is how much of your genetic code, creates you as an individual, and then scene is how much does your environment, shape you into an individual. And Metal Gear Solid 1 had to do with how much your genetics influenced you as a person, right? Because you played the entire game with Liquid thinking he got the bad genes and Snake thinking he got the dominant and powerful genes, or Liquid versus Solid getting the good ones, right? The second game has to do with turning Raiden into Solid Snake via other people telling him things and all of that. And then Metal Gear Solid 3 had to do with the setting of post-Cold World War and all of that shit going on to turn him into the fucking super soldier or whatever, right?